For
a lot of time.
Japanese, yeah, it's very difficult.
And it's a normal concern. Here from my experience, I'm telling you, perhaps some of you and many foreigners have this cultural shock.
Japanese is one of the easiest language because
Antes de comenzar, quiero recordarte que no olvides suscribirte y que si este video es de tu agrado dejes un like. Asimismo, activa la campanita para que no te pierdas ninguno de nuestros próximos videos. Konnichiwa, Misaki desu.
こんにちは、猫先生です。
El de hoy les traigo un video bastante especial para cualquier persona que esté interesada en Japón, pero definitivamente para aquellos que estén interesados en el japonés. Hoy no vamos a hacer una clase propiamente del idioma, sino que vamos a discutir con mi esposo si este idioma verdaderamente es el más difícil para aquellas personas de Occidente, hablantes de inglés, hablantes de español. Y vamos a ir un poquito más allá de lo básico. La idea original de este video viene de un stream, de un live de un youtuber japonés que lo pueden ver acá en inglés y en japonés, pero aquí queremos abordar esos puntos claves. Así que sin darle más largas a este video, comencemos. Oh, wow. Este video lo vamos a hacer en inglés porque vamos a tratar de demarcar las diferencias entre el japonés y el inglés y el español. Entonces, si lo explicáramos en japonés, digamos que no sería tan visible. Kanji, I guess it's something that we all can agree that it's difficult because
Yeah,
it takes
for
a lot of time.
Japanese, yeah, it's very difficult.
How many years took you?
took me to master. No,
Well,
I didn't.
You didn't
I
master, no,
haven't
master,
run-
man.
I hadn't mastered, but yeah,
To have-
in daily life, I don't have any difficulty to read. But actually, yeah, if you start to learn Chinese character kanji, I think you start to realize how important kanji is. Because if you read it, if everything's written in katakana and hiragana, it's difficult to read. But
Where do the words stop?
because kanji represents not like how to read, but it's like representing the what the meaning of what is written, right?
The concept.
The concept.
verb.
So which means if you learn to Chinese character, I think you know. If you see the Chinese character, you don't know the reading, but you can understand the meaning, right? What is written from the Chinese character.
The next thing that I wanted to talk with you was this concept of the culture in the language. For example, I know in Spanish and also in English, in Latino and the Western cultures, we are used to say things in a really like a short way. Like we have something really specific. We have the subject, we have, of course, preposition, object, and verb. We have those things. But I feel that in Japanese, so many sentences, you have to take many things into account. Like the construction of the sentence is not going to be that straightforward. How do you feel about that?
I feel so. Actually, for me, yeah, I'm learning English, so sometimes, I want to say something in English, but sometimes I translate Japanese into English. So I want to say that meaning in Japanese, but I cannot find the way. I have one roommate who is Japanese, so we are talking in Japanese, right? Normally, but sometimes there is one American, so
And they speak in English, right?
Yeah, so it's very weird because that person is 20 years older than me. So I'm always speaking to him in honorific ways.
In Japanese.
Yeah.
And no,
If
he's
he is-
older and he's also working there. Like
Yeah.
he's not a student.
Yeah. So if I change suddenly Japanese to English, I can say like honorific ways. I feel super weird.
But for you, for all of us that we are from Western, we have the problem in the opposite way. We tend to explain the things in one way, but in Japan, and considering the culture and the intrinsic rules there in terms of honorifics, humble, and the polite ways, we tend to be sometimes really plain and not giving the necessary amount of respect to the other one, right? But I guess for me, using the standard Japanese of the book can be quite enough. I mean, it's better than just to speak like an anime character, like so you can see how the Japanese has these difficulties with the foreign language and how in our case we're going to have the opposite problem if we go to Japan and perhaps we start speaking in a really informal way. one additional topic that makes Japanese a little bit difficult is this concept of reading the air, kukyōma.
Yeah.
Also, that's why some people don't tend to be really direct when saying yes or no. And it's a normal concern. Here from my experience, I'm telling you, perhaps some of you and many foreigners have this cultural shock. When they go to Japan, they want to interact with someone and the friends are not direct. They say, let's go and watch a movie, and the friend is not saying directly no. The foreigner is always having this feeling that the Japanese doesn't want to do anything with them. They don't want to do anything with us, and they don't say what they want to do. And it's a common way of frustration, and that's also in the language. These difficult, small, little things that you can put at the end of the sentence and can change not only the tone, but also kind of like reflect how do you perceive the other person. If you feel that the other person is lower position than you, higher position than you, if you want to remark that you are a cool guy, if you want to remark that you are a lady, if you want to remark that you're super, hyper, mega rude, kind of like these nuances that perhaps as a foreigner, we do not understand all of them. I'm going to leave you a link to this webpage where you can see all of these cases of just saying, これはオレンジ. This is an orange. Just to say that there can be more than 10 different ways, considering what do you want to highlight, how do you feel about the other, and what do you want to say about you. For example, if you say, これはオレンジなのね.
I think, lady says two babies. Yeah,
Two babies.
Two babies. Two babies.
Two babies.
Two babies.
Like two little kids.
Yeah.
In a cute way.
これはオレンジね。これはオレンジなのね。Yeah.
So for example, if you as a guy, you say that to your boss. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I feel if you
really
if man says that, that person is like gay.
Clearly, this is something that is going to make the Japanese quite interesting, but at the same time really difficult. But I feel that all of this that we are discussing here, for example, the reading the atmosphere, kukyōma, and kind of like these nuances at the end, those are things that I feel that you're only going to get in a proper way if you live in Japan. Because you don't find in the book 10 different ways to say this is an orange. There are many different ways to address the Japanese. Of course, clearly, when you study by yourself, I feel that you need to have the knowledge of kind of like an informal, like the casual way to speak, and the formal basic of tabemasu, tabemashita. But to really feel that you have mastered Japanese, or at least that you can blend into the society, you have to come to Japan and you have to interact with different groups. Clearly, if you have friends, you're going to develop the abilities to speak naturally to them. If you are working as a part-time job, also you can develop the abilities to speak in a more formal way. Because even though you don't know all the Japanese, you're going to have some co-workers. You're going to have some co-workers, some people in the baito that are going to be Japanese, and you're going to hear how they're referring. So please don't feel, and I think that's the message that I want to share in this video, that although there are many difficulties, it's something that you can work over time. The most important thing at the beginning is to get the knowledge of the vocabulary. Because even though your grammar is not that perfect, you need to say words. I mean, that's the most important thing. So get your vocabulary, try to learn some kanji at least by reading, and then you can of course start polishing your grammar. So thank you so much for joining me today. Is there any comment that you have for all of these people here watching us?
Don't be afraid to learn Japanese, because Japanese actually I feel very easy. Yeah, what we talked about is a very subtle thing. And
it's once you are in Japan and you really want to be part of the society and not to be
if you want to master perfectly, but that can be said to every language, right? If you want to master it. But I think if you want to communicate with Japan, I think Japanese is one of the easiest language, because grammar is very easy and pronunciation is very easy. But subtle thing is very difficult.
Yeah, going into the detail is really detailed. Okay, so thank you so much for joining. A ustedes también muchísimas gracias por ver. Les voy a dejar acá en la cajita de descripción y los comentarios el enlace para que vean, por ejemplo, el video de un japonés explicando las dificultades del japonés desde su punto de vista, tanto en inglés como en japonés, y un artículo donde pueden leer un poquito más de toda la gran variedad de terminaciones que le pueden dar una palabra para indicar diferentes propósitos. Pueden compartir este video con todos sus amigos y dejarnos abajo sus comentarios. ¿A ustedes qué se les ha hecho difícil? Aquí estamos para ayudarlos, así que no tengan miedo y sus comentarios nos ayudan bastante. Que tengan un bonito día. ¡Matane!
Bye bye.